The Battenberg Mountbatten family is a European lineage whose exceptional destiny carried it from its roots in the German principalities to the very center of the British monarchy. Its story begins in the mid-19th century in the Grand Duchy of Hesse, where it emerged as a morganatic branch of the ducal house. Over time, the Battenbergs intermarried with numerous European royal houses, including the British, Spanish, Swedish, Greek, and Bulgarian monarchies, through carefully forged marital alliances. This dynastic journey reached its culmination when the family was fully integrated into the British House of Windsor under the anglicized surname Mountbatten, a change prompted by the upheavals of the First World War. Thus, a family of relatively modest standing within the German noble hierarchy came to provide consorts, military leaders, and influential advisors to several European courts, becoming an inseparable part of continental royal history. The historical significance of the Battenberg Mountbatten family lies in this unique legacy. They are direct ancestors of both the present British and Spanish monarchies, and their trajectory reflects the alliances and rivalries that shaped Europe's ruling houses over the past 2 centuries. Before continuing with this fascinating documentary, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our historical videos. Without further ado, let us begin. The surname Battenberg originated within the context of the small German states of the 19th century. In 1851, Grand Duke Louis III of Hesse-Darmstadt granted the title of Countess of Battenberg to his sister-in-law, Countess Julia von Hauck, in order to bestow noble dignity upon her morganatic marriage to Prince Alexander of Hesse-Darmstadt. Julia was a lady-in-waiting of Polish-German origin who had married Prince Alexander, the younger brother of the Grand Duke, without herself belonging to royalty, which prevented their future children from inheriting dynastic titles or rights. To resolve this situation, the newly created Countess of Battenberg and her descendants were granted a distinct rank within the nobility of the Grand Duchy. In 1858, a few years later, the title was elevated to that of Prince or Princess of Battenberg, with the style of Serene Highness, formally establishing the Battenbergs as a separate, though non-dynastic, branch of the House of Hesse. The marriage of Alexander of Hesse and Julia von Hauck produced 5 children, who formed the first generation of the Battenberg family. Each was destined to forge alliances with various European royal houses, extending the influence of this lineage far beyond the borders of Hesse. The eldest, Marie of Battenberg, born 1852, married a prince of the House of Erbach-Schönberg in Germany, linking the young family to the regional German nobility. She was followed by Louis of Battenberg, born 1854, whose destiny would become closely tied to the British Royal Navy and the court in London. The third son, Alexander, born 1857, would ascend a Balkan throne as the sovereign prince of Bulgaria, while the fourth, Henry, born 1858, married Princess Beatrice of the United Kingdom, the youngest daughter of Queen Victoria, thereby establishing a direct connection with the British monarchy. The youngest of the siblings, Francis Joseph, born in 1861, further strengthened the dynasty's reach by marrying Princess Anna of Montenegro, daughter of the Montenegrin ruler, in 1897. Through these children, the House of Battenberg found itself at the crossroads of multiple European dynasties, initiating a geographical and political expansion that soon transcended its morganatic origins. By the late 19th century, the Battenbergs had already become intertwined with several European ruling houses, a process facilitated by the marriage politics of the Victorian era. One of the earliest milestones occurred in the Balkans. In 1879, Alexander of Battenberg was elected sovereign prince of the newly autonomous Principality of Bulgaria, established following liberation from Ottoman rule. Alexander, affectionately known as Sandro, was a nephew by marriage of the Russian Tsar and had served in the Russian army, circumstances that favored his candidacy for the Bulgarian throne after the Russo-Turkish War. However, his reign was marked by tensions between Bulgarian nationalist aspirations and Russian influence. In August 1886, he became the victim of a military coup supported by pro-Russian factions, which forced him to abdicate. Although briefly restored to power by a counter-coup, Prince Alexander realized that the European powers, including Russia, Austria-Hungary, and Germany, no longer supported his continuation on the throne. He therefore voluntarily renounced the crown on the 7th of September 1886 and left Bulgaria. He later assumed the title of Count of Hartenau and retired to live in Graz, Austria, where he died in 1893 at the age of 36. Despite his short reign, Alexander I of Bulgaria was honored after his death with a mausoleum in Sofia bearing his name, erected as a symbol of the Bulgarian people's gratitude to their first prince following Ottoman rule. In parallel, the rest of the Battenberg family was consolidating ties with Western monarchies. Prince Henry of Battenberg entered into one of the most emblematic alliances in 1885 when he married Princess Beatrice of the United Kingdom, the youngest daughter of Queen Victoria. The Queen herself had initially hesitated to allow the marriage, since Beatrice was her favorite child and constant companion, but ultimately gave her consent on the condition that the newlyweds would live with her in England. The union of Henry with the British royal family integrated the Battenbergs into the sphere of the British court during the reign of Queen Victoria. From then on, Prince Henry served the British crown, taking part in official engagements and holding honorary military roles. However, his adventurous spirit led him to seek military distinction beyond the comfortable position of prince consort. In 1895, Henry requested to join the British expedition to West Africa against the Ashanti Kingdom in what is now Ghana. Despite the misgivings of the elderly Queen Victoria, who feared for her son-in-law's safety, Henry departed for the campaign. Tragically, he contracted malaria during the expedition and died of the fever on the 20th of January, 1896, aboard HMS Blonde, while returning in a weakened state towards England. His premature death at the age of 38 plunged the British court into mourning. Princess Beatrice, devastated, remained a widow for the rest of her long life. The marriage of Beatrice and Henry of Battenberg produced 4 children, born and raised on English soil, who embodied the next phase of the family's dynastic alliances. The only daughter, Victoria Eugenie of Battenberg, known as Ina, would become Queen of Spain. Her story illustrated how the Battenbergs, despite their initially minor status, could rise to the highest royal spheres. In 1906, the young Ina married King Alfonso XIII of Spain. To make this match possible, her uncle, King Edward VII of the United Kingdom, had first granted her the rank of Royal Highness, as until then she had held only the style of Serene Highness, proper to the morganatic Battenbergs. As Queen Consort of Spain, Victoria Eugenie brought a close link to the British monarchy. She was a granddaughter of Queen Victoria and embodied Edwardian elegance, but she also unknowingly transmitted the gene for hemophilia inherited through her mother. 2 of the sons of Alfonso XIII and Victoria Eugenie inherited this condition, which was then incurable. In particular, Crown Prince Alfonso, Prince of Asturias, and Infante Gonzalo suffered from hemophilia, causing grave concern for the Spanish crown. King Alfonso, in frustration, came to blame Ina for the curse afflicting their children. Despite these personal misfortunes, and an anarchist assassination attempt on their wedding day in Madrid, from which the royal couple emerged unharmed, Queen Victoria Eugenie fulfilled her role during a turbulent reign that ultimately ended with the fall of the monarchy in 1931. The former queen then went into exile and lived until 1969, long enough to see her grandson, Juan Carlos, designated as successor to the headship of state, though not the effective restoration of the crown. The Battenberg surname became incorporated into the Bourbon dynasty. By Spanish tradition, Ina's surviving son, Don Juan of Bourbon, father of Juan Carlos I, officially bore the surname Bourbon y Battenberg, using it even during his exile until his death in 1993. Within this broader European dynastic context, one of the most significant Battenberg alliances was forged through Louis of Battenberg, who, from an early age, oriented his life and career towards the United Kingdom. He renounced his German nationality and enlisted in the British Royal Navy, entering at the age of 14 in 1868. He rose through the ranks on merit, taking part in actions such as the bombardment of Alexandria in 1882, and later serving as Director of Naval Intelligence. In 1884, Louis further strengthened his ties to the British royal family by marrying Princess Victoria of Hesse-Darmstadt, his distant cousin and a granddaughter of Queen Victoria. This princess, daughter of Grand Duke Louis IV of Hesse and Princess Alice of the United Kingdom, was the elder sister of the future Empress Alexandra of Russia, placing Louis in kinship with the British, Prussian, and Russian royal houses. Thanks both to his family connections and to his professional ability, Prince Louis of Battenberg reached the highest naval command. In 1912, he was appointed First Sea Lord, Chief of the Royal Navy's staff. From this post, he oversaw, alongside Winston Churchill, the full mobilization of the Grand Fleet at the outbreak of the First World War in 1914. Paradoxically, that conflict would test the Battenbergs' loyalty to Britain because of their German roots. Meanwhile, other members of the family continued to expand their network of alliances. Princess Louise of Battenberg, daughter of Louis and Victoria of Hesse, born in 1889 in the United Kingdom, married the Swedish Crown Prince Gustav Adolf in 1923 after the Great War. Years later, in 1950, Louise became Queen Consort of Sweden when her husband ascended the throne as King Gustav VI Adolf. Although Louise had no children of her own, her role as consort introduced the Battenberg lineage into the Swedish court and significantly strengthened dynastic ties between the British and Scandinavian royal houses. On the other hand, Prince Francis Joseph of Battenberg, the youngest brother of Louis, Alexander, and Henry, had married Princess Anna of Montenegro in 1897, daughter of King Nicholas I of Montenegro. Anna was the sister of Queen Elena of Italy and aunt of King Alexander I of Yugoslavia, and this marriage therefore connected the Battenbergs with the Western Balkans and the Italian royal house. Although Francis Joseph and Anna had no children, and he died in 1924, their union represented the final major dynastic link of the original Battenberg generation. By the turn of the century, therefore, this lineage had succeeded in positioning itself within a constellation of European thrones. It included a reigning prince in Bulgaria, a British princess within the Victorian milieu, a future queen in Spain, future queen's consort in Sweden and Greece, as another daughter of Louis of Battenberg, Alice, married Prince Andrew of Greece in 1903. Despite its origins being initially regarded as unequal, the Battenberg family had been transformed into a genealogical bridge between royal houses. The unquestionable loyalty shown by the Battenbergs towards Great Britain faced a critical test during the First World War. As the conflict intensified, strong anti-German sentiment grew within British society and extended even to the royal family itself and its German-born relatives. The Battenbergs, princes bearing German names and titles but established in England, came under unfair suspicion because of their origins. In October 1914, barely 11 weeks after the outbreak of war, Admiral Louis of Battenberg, then First Sea Lord, was pressured into resigning from his post despite his distinguished service, solely because of his German ancestry. King George V, cousin to Louis and to his wife Victoria, nevertheless acknowledged the prince's loyalty and retained him as an informal advisor. The situation culminated in 1917. That year, with the British Empire at war against the German Empire, George V took the historic decision to anglicize all titles held by the British royal family and their German relatives. In July 1917, the king renounced the surnames Saxe-Coburg and Gotha and officially adopted the name Windsor for the royal house. At the same time, he invited the Battenbergs to do likewise. Obeying the sovereign and motivated by patriotism, the Battenberg princes resident in Great Britain renounced their German titles and translated their surname into English. Thus, Louis of Battenberg adopted the anglicized name Mountbatten. On July 17, 1917, George V further granted him the British peerage title of Marquess of Milford Haven, recognizing his status within the British aristocracy. Likewise, his political cousin Prince Alexander of Battenberg, son of Princess Beatrice and Prince Henry, and grandson of Queen Victoria, relinquished the title of Prince of Battenberg and was created Marquis of Carisbrooke by the king. The young George of Battenberg, son of Louis, assumed the courtesy title of Earl of Medina and later inherited the Marquisate of Milford Haven. Female members also adjusted their styles. Princess Beatrice of the United Kingdom, mother of Alexander, ceased using the title Princess Henry of Battenberg and became known simply as Princess Beatrice at the British court. Other Battenberg males serving the crown likewise altered their surname and status. Prince Leopold of Battenberg, another son of Beatrice who suffered from hemophilia, became simply Lord Leopold Mountbatten, taking precedence as the son of a marquis. Sadly, he died soon afterwards in 1922 from medical complications related to his condition, aged 32. It should be noted that Leopold's younger brother, Maurice of Battenberg, did not live to see these changes. He was serving as an officer in the British Army when he was killed in action in October 1914 during the First Battle of Ypres. He was buried with his German surname and rank still intact, having died before the royal decree of 1917. The change from Battenberg to Mountbatten represented more than a cosmetic adjustment. It symbolized the profound loyalty of this family to Great Britain at a time of existential struggle. After 1917, the Mountbattens became fully integrated into the British nobility. Meanwhile, outside the United Kingdom, some members of the lineage retained the original Battenberg surname, as they were not subject to George V's decree. For example, Queen Victoria Eugenia in exile continued to be known in Spain as Victoria Eugenia of Battenberg, and her sons and daughters legally bore the surname Battenberg alongside Bourbon. Indeed, her son, Don Juan, Count of Barcelona, used Bourbon and Battenberg throughout his life. Similarly, Alice of Battenberg, daughter of Prince Louis and married into the Greek royal family, retained her maiden name. This change would not occur within her branch of the family until decades later. However, the House of Battenberg, as an independent noble entity, effectively came to an end after the Great War. Prince Francis Joseph of Battenberg, who never adopted the surname Mountbatten, died without issue in 1924, becoming the last male of the original lineage to bear the Battenberg name. His widow, Princess Anna of Montenegro, also retained the Battenberg surname until her death, symbolically closing the Battenberg era. Thereafter, it would be under the name Mountbatten that the family would continue its trajectory, particularly on British soil. After the First World War, the family now known as the Mountbattens continued to play a prominent role both in British public life and within other European monarchies. Louis Mountbatten, formerly Prince Louis of Battenberg, lived his final years as a respected elder statesman. Although he had lost his naval post in 1914, the Royal Navy later honored him with the ceremonial rank of Admiral of the Fleet, and he served as a Privy Councillor to King George V. He died in London in 1921, content to see his children well established within the highest circles. His eldest son, George Mountbatten, second Marquis of Milford Haven, continued the family tradition of service to the crown until his death in 1938. It was, however, Louis's other children, Alice, Louise, and Louis Jr., who would keep the Mountbatten name prominent on the international stage in the mid-20th century. Princess Alice of Battenberg lived a life worthy of a novel. Married to Prince Andrew of Greece and Denmark since 1903, she endured alongside the Greek royal family the upheavals of the Balkan Wars and the turbulent interwar period. After the fall of the Greek monarchy in 1924, Alice and her family, including her youngest son Philip, born in 1921, were forced into exile. The princess also suffered a personal health crisis during the 1930s, but recovered and developed a profound religious and humanitarian vocation. During the Second World War, while living in Athens, Alice distinguished herself through remarkable courage by hiding and protecting a Jewish family persecuted by the Nazis, an act for which she would later be honored as righteous among the nations. After the war, she founded a charitable religious order in Greece. However, her greatest contribution to the destiny of the Mountbatten family would come through her son. Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark, her only son, was educated in part in England under the guardianship of his uncles Louis and George Mountbatten. In 1947, Philip renounced his Greek and Danish royal titles, became a naturalized British subject, and adopted the surname Mountbatten, thereby smoothing the path to his marriage to Princess Elizabeth of the United Kingdom. In this way, the great-grandson of the family's founder, Julia von Hauke, once again united the lineage with the British crown by marrying the heir to the throne. Philip Mountbatten was created Duke of Edinburgh shortly before the wedding and, years later, in 1957, was granted the title of Prince of the United Kingdom by his wife, now Queen Elizabeth II. As Prince Consort, Philip firmly incorporated the Mountbatten lineage into the reigning British dynasty, definitively consolidating the union between the Mountbatten and Windsor families. By family agreement, from 1960, the descendants of Elizabeth II and Philip, who do not hold the style of Royal Highness, have used the compound surname Mountbatten-Windsor, a designation combining the name of the royal house with the Mountbatten legacy. Princess Louise Mountbatten, for her part, served from 1950 as Queen Consort of Sweden, accompanying King Gustav VI Adolf until his death in 1965. As consort, she was much loved in Sweden for her charitable work and modern outlook, although she had no children of her own. Through her, the Mountbatten lineage became interwoven with Sweden's House of Bernadotte, adding another crown to the list of family connections. However, the member of the Mountbatten family who achieved the greatest international prominence in the 20th century was probably Louis Mountbatten, 1st Earl Mountbatten of Burma, the youngest son of Prince Louis. Born as Prince Louis of Battenberg in 1900, this dynamic figure was educated in England and followed his father's naval tradition. During the Second World War, Louis Mountbatten distinguished himself as a military strategist, as head of Britain's Combined Operations Command, from which he planned raids such as the celebrated assault on Saint-Nazaire. In 1943, he was appointed Supreme Allied Commander Southeast Asia, a post from which he directed the campaign against Japan in Burma and Malaya. His prestige led the Labour government of Clement Attlee to appoint him the last Viceroy of India in 1947. In that role of immense responsibility, Mountbatten oversaw the final transition to Indian independence and the creation of the state of Pakistan. Although the partition was painful, his administration earned respect for its accessibility and political skill, and after independence, he served briefly as the first Governor-General of a free India. Upon returning to Great Britain, Lord Mountbatten continued to serve the Crown. He was appointed Chief of the Defence Staff between 1959 and 1965, becoming one of the few military figures to reach such a position after so distinguished a career. Within the family sphere, he also exerted considerable influence as mentor to his great-nephew, the Prince of Wales, the future King Charles III, guiding him during his youth. Tragically, Lord Mountbatten's long life of service ended violently. On 27 August 1979, while on holiday on the Irish coast, he was killed in an attack carried out by the IRA, Irish Republican Army. A bomb planted on his small boat exploded, killing him at the age of 79, along with one of his grandsons and several others. His death shocked the United Kingdom and the wider world, given the historical stature he had attained. Mountbatten was honored with a state funeral and remembered as a war hero, a statesman, and, owing to his close relationship with the royal family, the nation's grandfather. By the end of the 20th century, the Mountbatten surname had become inseparably linked to the destiny of the British monarchy. The children of Queen Elizabeth II officially bear the designation Windsor, yet within their bloodline runs the Battenberg-Mountbatten heritage. Likewise, other contemporary European royal houses retain the genealogical imprint of this family. King Felipe VI of Spain is the great-grandson of Victoria Eugenie of Battenberg, while King Charles III of the United Kingdom is the son of Prince Philip Mountbatten. Both reigning monarchs, British and Spanish alike, therefore share the Battenberg-Mountbatten lineage among their ancestors, a living testament to the enduring influence of this family within European royalty. Thank you for joining us until the end of the video. We hope you have enjoyed it. If you have anything to add, please share it with us in the comments section. Give us a like and share this link with all your friends and family so that more people can learn about the history of the Battenberg-Mountbatten family. Thank you for following us, and if you are not yet subscribed, we invite you to do so and activate the notification bell, as we regularly upload historical content that may interest you. See you in the next video.